You are now listening to Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, the voice for the people. Join Richie alongside co-host property damage attorney Hans Kennon as they bring light to the taboo world of big insurance companies, exposing their tactics and fighting for justice. Hear stories from contractors across the state. Contractor Talk, here to protect homeowners and uncover the truth.
All right, and welcome to the show, a Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, every Monday night, 94.9 FM and 950 on the AM dial. And we record it and then podcast it to you guys everywhere else, Spotify, iTunes, and we're on our YouTube page as well. In case you'd like to check out Hans' Dapper Suit of the Week, little close up over here. You'll never catch the same suit setup at any moment in time. So previously he was getting up, giving me a whirl. But anyways, we'll get there.
Not enough space. I can't work in this space.
It's a new space for us. It is. We're excited to be here for a few months. We're on this new dial. We've had our podcast with you guys. If you check us out on Spotify, it's the best, easiest way, or iTunes. You can scroll through all of our shows there. There's years of shows, different topics, different guests that we've had on the show, and every portion of really rebuilding people's homes. Right, when you look at it at the bigger picture, we are an association. We're the Restoration Association of Florida, is who we're sponsored by, and we are an association for contractors, by contractors. And what we've seen is that while we're on a consumer-based show, is that it really is the consumer. Well, really, let me take a step back and say the contractor rights are only as good as the consumer rights. Let's just say that. The contractors in your corner, they're the ones that are fighting for you in your one time of loss. I think the average of a property damage claim loss to somebody's home is about once every 10 years or once in a lifetime. So it's not that many times that people have to deal with that major catastrophe of what do I do now, especially after we've had Hurricane Milton, and we've had recent storms, even going back 2 years ago to Hurricane Ian, to where we're still seeing lots of chaos out there in the insurance world and the property insurance world, is what we talk about here. But we have guests on here every week, and we bring some, I'll call it enlightenment. How do you want to say enlightenment? Anyways, we just bring some
enlightenment.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. The lawyer in the show here can save me from these type of long words that I don't usually say. But what we do, we bring some new information to you guys, and really in a way to help you. Some of our callers, Hans, have known, because he gives out a cell phone number in the show, so just be ready for that. At any time throughout the show, you can call it. No, but he gives out his cell phone number to anybody that is in need and says, if you have a property damage loss, or actually any type of insurance loss, he can help you. And for years and years, it has been, I can help you at the expense of the insurance company, especially if they are found to be wrong in that instance. And so dealing with all that is never any fun, and we talk about the laws as they're changing here in the state of Florida. We're halfway through our Florida legislative session now, which we haven't seen much movement in the Senate at all regarding attorney's fees. However, there have been some articles out and some movement in the House on a bill that would come out that would bring back a version of attorney's fees, meaning that if the insurance company was wrong, and they were found to be wrong, then the judge can order prevailing party attorney's fees to the winner. So, and a game changer to where if somebody's in a dispute with their insurance company, say $10,000, I love using that number because it's right around, that's a lot of money. And when somebody is in that need, they need to replace their roof, and they have a $10,000 dispute. They need every penny of that $10,000 to put their roof on. Could you imagine having to pay more than half of that to experts, attorney's fees, just to be able to collect what was rightfully due to you anyways? And as you've said it, Hans, for 20 plus years, you've been able to look somebody right in the eye and say, I will get you every penny that you deserve of your indemnity, and the insurance companies will pay my fees and costs.
And we did that. Well, the state of Florida did it for over 100 years before that changed in December of 2022. So, and I spent 30 of those years exactly telling people, don't worry, it's been around for 100 years, it's not going to change. You always be careful what you say at some point, because you don't realize. You say to yourself, well, what would the legislature do? Why would they screw the consumer in this way? And you go, well, they wouldn't, because that would be bad for them getting reelected. Yet, somehow they did, and they were going to follow Governor DeSantis all the way to the presidential, to the West Wing, and that didn't work out, and all of a sudden we got new leadership and bad law.
Right. And now it's finally coming out. All the articles you start to see now, it's bringing up questions, so much so that the House of Representatives have been calling in these executives from the insurance companies and finding more out that all of these, I would say, the documents that should have came out back in 2022, with their whole reasoning behind it, the Office of Insurance Regulation at that point had the regime of David Altmaier, who was in bed with all of the insurance companies, to find that all the information was there. The report was finalized to show all of the misuse, mishandling of all of the dollars from the insurance companies, overpaying their subsidiaries billions and billions of dollars, showing a loss or very, very small profit, enabling them to increase premiums. And that was really the deal. Was there was a fake crisis going on. That's what they needed to change the laws. They got all the reports in, and what they do, they're saying that they left it in draft mode, quote unquote, because it was never requested after the first initial many requests that were put in by others that were seeking this information. It's absolutely mind-blowing that they could get away with this and then look them right in the eye today and say, oh, yeah, it was in draft mode and nobody asked for it, so we never gave it to anybody. We just let it sit there.
And the new commissioner who came in after Altmaier left in December of 2022 was when Altmaier left. The new head of OIR said he didn't even know about the report until it got asked. He got asked for it at the end of 24 when those requests by the newspapers and other news outlets finally got his attention.
That's crazy. And we all know it's a lie. And this is what they say to us in the public. So we're like, oh, okay. Just like the fake crisis. It's like, oh, okay. Well, this is the information we had at that time. That's what they were really quickly shoving all of that law through in special sessions and in regular law very, very quickly, so that nobody, the smoke would still be there. And they had enough time to pass it while the smoke facade was there.
And once those laws get passed, we all know it's always more of a Herculean effort to get them unpassed or get them taken back or try to even revise them. Can be, as they say, an act of Congress.
It really is. And we hope to see more acts from our legislature to help even out the score, really. But what we've started to see is that it's kind of like, because of these major law changes, we've seen almost a dying breed in the state of Florida, and with contractors leaving the industry, as you saw, Hans, who's been a board certified lawyer here in the Central Florida area. I've seen that many people have just left property altogether. You had several folks in your office just be like, all right, laws have changed, I'm done.
Yep, oh, no, very much so. And that's one thing we'd like to think we still offer, despite the fact, in all honesty, it's not what it used to be. We still feel we have a bit of a moral obligation, a moral compass that says we should try to help people who are being denied or underpaid by their insurer. Even though it's unfortunate to now have the conversation that, well, sir, you have to pay me out of your proceeds. I mean, we normally are able to work all that out satisfactorily. It's still a difficult conversation to say, I know you need enough money to replace your roof. You're going to come up potentially a little short.
Right.
And they kind of look at you and they go, well, why am I short? I'm going, well, because the governor said that you should pay me instead of the insurance company. And people always look at you funny and go, really? And I go, I swear to God, after 110 years of doing it one way, they decided to do it another way.
That's right.
So.
And that's why it's important during that one time of loss that you do have that type of property damage loss, that you contact the right contractor. And I'll give out our website. If you're listening, you're consumer-wise, or even watching us on the podcast, check us out if you're not a member already at raflorida.org. If you're a consumer looking for a contractor in your area that knows this type of specialty and is a part of our association specifically, check us out online, raflorida.org, for contractor search for you in your area. Members of the association know how to deal with these type of losses and have been doing it for a long time, and it really is behooves you to have the best contractor on your side. There's a difference between retail contractors and insurance contractors. Retail contractors will just give you a quick lump sub bid on something. I'll give you an example. Your roof, it's 30 squares. It's $30,000, and that's the line item. right? In an insurance type of claim, the insurance company is going to ask you to find a contractor to give you a line item detailed estimate of all the repairs that are going to be done to that line item, every single portion of that, not just a lump or lump sum bid type of contract. And so when you're dealing with that, you can really look at it line item by line item to get your insured what they deserve, rather than leaving something on the table that they should have put in the bid. Maybe they missed out on it, but they couldn't tell because you have a lump sum bid. Fix roof, fix interior, this much, that much, right? What is going on, and what should be paid for under the claim, and what should be, an upgrade that wasn't a part of the claim. And so having the right contractor is important. And so we bring on our next guest, Jeff and Tracey Wallace, with Ameripride AC and Plumbing. Not only are they AC and plumbing contractors, also general contractor as well. And they give full bids. How many times have you heard that, Jeff, of somebody saying, "Oh, my insurance company wants me to get 3 bids." Or I don't even know where to go, and I have this major loss, a catastrophe. Can you help me out?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. And yes, I hear that a lot.
I bet you do.
The one thing that we try to do the most, more than just do the bids, is try to educate the customers on what's going on. Like you said, normally, especially with a large issue or problem, when it comes to a flood, or if it comes to mold in their house, hurricane damage, it's once in a lifetime thing. So they've never had that issue happen before, and they just don't know what to do. That's so right. Educating them on the steps to take, what to do, and make them feel comfortable is our main goal. As you see, our tagline is just be comfortable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you do more than just the trades that you have on your shirt there. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then your company, and what brings you to today's success.
Well, my background, basically, I started in the trades when I was about 13 years old. So I've been doing this quite a while.
Like 10 years now, probably.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, 10 or 12.
10 or 12,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm just kidding. We're on radio and TV, so but it's been longer than that. That's what I'm guessing.
So yeah, I started actually. You were talking about roofing. That's actually what I started doing. Had a friend of mine had a roofing company, and there was a hailstorm that went through back in 1900, and he said, "Hey, do you want to do work on roofs with me and do roof work?" And I said, "What does it pay?" And it paid by the square. And I'm sure everybody knows, there's so many squares to the roof. And back then, that was great money. That's how I got started. And I've gone through the industry, through the construction part of it, and ended up doing the maintenance end of it. Started there at Walt Disney World, believe it or not, and I started there in 1987. And there's a classification there called AC Plumbers, and that's what I became as an AC plumber. That's where I picked up the plumbing and the AC skills, and have gone on to different companies like Hyatt, Marriott, staying in resorts end of it, which is what I enjoy doing. I love people. I love being around people and, helping people out. So stayed in the resorts end of it until I got basically wanted to go out on my own. And we started that in 2018. And my wife, who has been at my side for a very long time, in fact, she's got probably a picture to let us know how long, to give you an idea. That long.
Wow.
That was when we were 14.
Are those lockers behind you?
Yeah, exactly.
Junior
That
high
was
school.
in ninth grade.
No
Really?
kidding.
Good for you.
And where was that? What city?
That was in Sanford. That's where I was born and raised.
No kidding.
So that is, yes, sir. That's
You don't meet too many locals that are
Yeah.
still here now.
That's Crooms High School. Back then, you had to go to Crooms before you went to Seminole.
Huh, no kidding.
Wow.
So she
a great
came out of the the law field of 30 years in law, and joined up with us, and
Awesome.
me and her hasn't looked back since.
Nice.
And Tracey, you handle a lot of the operations there, the what we call the brains of the operation.
I do. I take care of talking with the customers, making sure that they are up to speed of what's going on, staying in communication. Again, this is a big deal to them, so having that communication and walking them through, knowing there's a friendly voice they can call to let them know what's going on, is hugely helpful for them.
Absolutely.
I'm the one that keeps copies of the receipts. I'm the one that prepares the very detailed, itemized quotes that we break down, not just by, okay, here's your new AC, but here's the installation, here's the equipment, here's the new hurricane pad, here's everything, the permitting that goes into it. When we invoice that out, we provide them with copies of every single receipt for every single thing that we have purchased. So we're very transparent as to where their money is going to.
Got you. And so you don't just help out just in the AC or plumbing. You're the whole entire, I was going to say claim, but the whole entire rebuild. You also talking about doing commercial rebuilds from ground up, residential work. So you guys do a little bit of all kinds of construction services.
Yes.
What would you say would be your best referral? Would you say residential would be your like bathroom, kitchens, those types of remodels, or what's your bread and butter?
Basically general remodels, insurance claims, people that's, having problems with their insurance companies.
It really is a specialty. It really is.
One of the things that we do is, people are waiting for their HVAC system. They have no AC. It's been taken out because of a flood. They're waiting on insurance money to be able to replace it. They have elderly people that's down here.
And let's be honest, it's Florida. It's now 92 degrees. I think it hit the highest today of the season. So I can imagine sitting there without an air conditioning system while you're waiting on the insurance companies to do the right thing.
So we have things in place to help people get financing so that they can go ahead and get the AC replaced and then worry about paying that off later when they get their insurance proceeds.
That's great. And most people don't know that interest is also reimbursable. So for instance, if somebody did, or say you're waiting on a Hurricane Ian claim payout, which what we've seen in the paper, Hans, is that we've seen a news story come out talking about, we were talking trash about Citizens, State Farm and Allstate making the paper of 50-something percent, 70%, 77% from Citizens, all claims filed from the last two storms, 77% of those were denied or paid under deductible. Well, now the dirty 14 came out. It wasn't even a dirty dozen. Dirty 14 came out all above 50%. Now we have, I think, people's distrust at the number one. And that would be under Citizens, because it didn't even include, I think, because they were off the chart. So you had people's distrust at 76%, all the way down to there's several ASIs or whichever. I'll actually read the list here in a little while if we have time. But there are actually, so many companies, 14 of them that made the list that denied over 50% of all claims filed from the past two recent storms. So we've seen more abuse from the insurance companies than we have this last year than we have the years past. And I think it's because, I know it is because of all the law changes, the loose laws that they put into place to not really stick it to the insurance companies when they're wrong, right? There's basically, if you sue your insurer now, they don't have to pay fees and costs. The most expensive day for them is what they should have paid in the beginning. So now they just put it off for 2 or 3 years, make you go through living hell, maybe go through financing, right, to get everything, and put them through just chaos. I couldn't imagine if I would be like, I don't want to put this on my credit right now. I don't want to have to remodel my home. That's why I buy insurance. All these things would be going through my head. But then you actually have to do that because insurance companies are playing with your money to put more profits in their pockets, which we've seen in the papers lately. So I go off tangents on that sometimes. But Tracey, I want to get back to if somebody is dealing with an insurance claim and they do need what do we say all the time? It literally takes a village. And what you offer, you are the village. So it seems like you're able to help them from A to Z to really help them out on their claims handling process, not even the process of the handling rather, but the put all the estimates together and giving them some sorts, help them with getting an AC unit, something that's critical to them on a finance plan, and then help them out when the payment comes at the end, help fill in all of the, I would just say, the holes that are left there when the payment does finally come. So if somebody is in that position, how would they reach you? What's the best number or contact email address to contact you and your company?
They can either call us. We have 2 numbers. One for the Orlando side is 407-322-7600, or our Winter Haven office is 863-213-5780, or they can always email us at info@ameripridesg.com.
All right. And that's your website?
Our website is Ameripride.sg, yes.
Perfect. .com. Awesome. That's the best way to find somebody. Most times, especially if I'm driving down the road through Central Florida listening to our show, I hear about it. I just go to my phone real quick and Google it, save the page, and make sure I contact them in case I do need them. And as we always talk about, you never know when you're going to need a contractor. You never know when you're going to need an attorney. Never know when you're going to need a mold guy like myself. That's what I do. I do the mold assessment portions of it, estimating those types of things. So again, like we say, it does take a village. And all the guests that we've had on the show, alongside of myself and Hans Kennon here, we've been able to assist folks in their time of need. Really just kind of putting everybody together that needs to be the power team. And that's what we talk about at the Restoration Association of Florida, is bringing contractors together in a way that would help the consumer in their one time of need. So if we all band together as contractors, we say on the good side, the good guys, right? Then we then help the consumers by setting the stage of what the industry is, right? What's industry standard? Well, it's what everybody in the industry is doing. That's the standard, right? So we don't do just subpar stuff. We go above and beyond all the time for our consumers to make sure they're put first. I don't know how many times and Hans have even given me a call and says, oof, man, the homeowner really got a low payment from their insurance company. Can you do anything on your invoice? And 100% of the time, absolutely. You know, we'll come down on our invoice just like the other contractors will. You know, we get a bruise that day, but we live to fight another day. You know, I'd rather stick around and ensure that the consumer has as much money as they need to be able to bring them back to pre-loss condition. It's really what it is, to be fair on both sides. And I think that's what we've always been wanting, are laws that help us on both sides to keep it even. Because what we've seen, the pendulum swing, the insurance companies have for years been saying the pendulum was over on the other side because they called it the one-way attorney's fees. You just have to win $1.
Well, they claimed it was too favorable for the consumer, and I'm just kind of shrug and go, last time I checked, I mean, other than money, which, you know, obviously talks, constituents talk and people who vote talk, and the idea that something's too consumer, I mean, if you think about it conceptually as a legislator, would you actually ever stop and go, whoa, that's too friendly for the consumer? We can't have that. I mean, at what point, other than getting checks and getting money in from someone else like an insurance company, at what point would anyone who gets elected by humans say this is too human friendly? This is too favorable. This is too helpful to the consumer.
Right. At no point was that, and that's the rhetoric that they do up there, right? To create this fake crisis. And we saw it the year before, at least I did when I was in Tallahassee. Every year you would start to see the stage coming up, and they would start to kind of chatter about like, oh, well, no, now it's attorneys and roofers that are then, remember the lie they were talking about, or maybe one case to where they're like, yeah, there was one case to where the insured got a payout of like, I don't know, I'm making up numbers at this point, but like $10,000, and their attorney got like $70,000, you know, and we're like, so any more details? Did they have to go to an appeal? Like, was there like, and that never happens. And Hans is like, I work on like 20, 30%, man. Like what? Like,
there's no way. I had a discussion with someone just today. I said, you hear about that? And it's kind of like, it's a little bit, I hate to be the fake news guy, but people start saying things these days with no backup.
Right.
And you challenge them and say, well, where's the backup for that number or this number? And then nobody has any, and then they're kind of upset that you're asking.
Right. And so many times that happen, and you ask them to substantiate that, and that's where you usually lose them. You lose them, and but that's where the fake crisis came out. And of course, once they were spitting this out, And then that's when they turned it to say, this is the reason why we're doing all these major changes. And that's the reason why they did it so fast, is so they can pull the wool over our eyes and then have those articles come out. And then now we see what happens. Are they able to change it back? I don't know. Can we make it fair for consumers today in the state of Florida and insurance claims? We don't know. And we sure hope so that we'll find some change this year, this legislative session, or next. All right, we're going to take a break, give some thanks to our sponsors. We'll be right back. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. All right. We're back live on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, 94.9 FM and 950 on the AM dial. If you're here in Central Florida, you'll be able to hear us every Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., bringing new guests, new information from the Restoration Association of Florida. Check us out online, raflorida.org, an association for contractors by contractors, and consumer information is what we like to bring to you guys, what the laws are like today in insurance and property damage insurance specifically. Co-host here, Hans Kennon, one call to Kennon Law. That's where we go. I'm getting better at that. Like, it's just one call to Kennon Law. But he is also on the FJA, the Florida Justice Association's property team, however you want to call it, the committee that gets involved legislatively and tries to make some sense of what's going on or what's to become as we go through halfway through our Florida legislative sessions. Any update? It has seemed to be pretty quiet the last week.
It's as they would say, it's quiet. It's too quiet. A little bit of that. The last week, we did not see any real movement on any consumer bills through the Senate. The House continues to move their version of the attorney fee bill, House Bill 1551, through the House and through the committees. The Senate so far has not taken up Senator Martin's bill, which is SB 429, 426, 426, and we're not sure what the holdup there is. Again, they don't like their voters apparently. Because
maybe they're waiting for April 26th or something like that to make it official. I don't know. 426.
What did they else get? What did,
we need an applause button over here for crying out loud.
Don't they all get high on? What's the get high day? Isn't that April?
Yeah, that's 420 there, buddy.
Well, 420. Maybe that's the day. Maybe that swings the.
It swings the vote for sure.
I don't know, but all I know is it has been quiet in the Senate as far as the work that we've been looking at that we think is helpful for the consumer.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate it hasn't gotten any legs yet. When you're halfway through, it's a big push to try to get a bill through 3 committees.
Yes, and just that they can do it in the last couple of days, and just so they can be nice and it ran out of time. We didn't have time to do it. I mean, there's a lot of excuses they can use.
Well, how about that? They started out with with this year as Senator Boyd, who owns multiple insurance companies, only stands to win big time in his pocket if this legislation continues to go through in the favor of the insurers. But he was moved from like the chair to co-chair to he's off from being chair or co-chair. But I still think he's got so much I want to say just
influence. I think generally they really do. Again,
why else are they not hearing the bill?
I mean, even on a national basis, the House is, Benjamin Franklin always called it the People's House, as opposed to the Senate, which was supposed to be those of more restraint. And I think that kind of carries across from state to state. The House is even though the House has fewer bills they can put through and everything else here in Florida, there does seem to be a more conservative aspect to the Senate, and kind of always has, even when it was controlled by Democrats. Right. So I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, as I was just writing to somebody who was writing to me about the bill, I was like, with all the bad press this year, with all that's come out about insurance companies and what they've been doing to people, how they've been moving money around to make make billions in profit, and it's not even just us talking. Now it's a report that the state has in their possession. I don't know what else would move the Senate more than realizing that your constituents were having money stolen from them, making them pay additional premium money when there was no need to, because the crisis was manufactured, because all the money was being given to the subsidiaries. That's not enough.
Right.
That's what I was writing to a guy. I said, I'm sorry if I sound a little frustrated, but all of this, and yet the Senate won't move on a bill that would help consumers be able to recoup their losses against their own insurer. Well,
and I think some of that residual is what we've seen the past couple of years is that Governor DeSantis, or I'll call him Dictator DeSantis, took over the Senate 2 years ago. He took it over, and I think there's still some remnants of that power that he has in the Senate, because the Senate is still bowing to this guy, even though he's got 2 years left. He's got zero power, right? I mean, that, and the legislature is focusing on the MBI bill, which is, what is it?
Mandatory bodily injury coverage on the automobile side, which DeSantis has already suggested. I'm not saying this is either good or bad. Has also already suggested he would veto again because of the lack of transparency as to the cost of those premiums, which is what happened in 2021. The same thing, he voted it down.
He's just let's follow the money, right? What happened? Why did this big change happen in dictator DeSantis? 100 million. I'll give you 100 million reasons why, and then a promise for another 250 million more reasons
to run
to do that, right? To run for president, and that's when he first got bought out. That's when my opinion of him went to crap, right? I mean, I loved him through our whatever you want to say, just keeping our businesses open during the other fake crisis. But we had all of this stuff now come to where he did a 180. He was no longer for the people. He was bought and paid for. His eyes now were looking for, let's run for president, and I will sell my soul. And he did. The insurance companies, in the middle of a quote-unquote crisis, they came out with $100 million so quick to have him run for president that he put those special sessions on. When I talked to him through his previous chief of staff, I almost said piece of crap, chief of staff, same if the shoe fits, whatever, and had a phone call with him, he was like, basically, your effort's too little too late. Like, it's already set in motion.
Yeah.
Already took the money is basically what he said. He didn't say that, but he was saying it's too late. Made my decision. This is what's happening. So there was no stopping that train at that point. He had so much power.
Just real quick, though, I have one comment, then I have a plenum question for Jeff. Because no one wants a moist plenum.
Nobody does.
Or maybe everybody does. I don't know.
It depends on who you're talking to.
But one thing, keep in mind that in November of 2022, the head of Office of Insurance Regulation, David Altmaier, had the report that said all that was going on, and all the bad law that got passed happened in December of 2022. Just a month later, they pushed through that special session while those guys knew they had it. And Altmaier even spoke to the committee in December and said that this would not reduce premiums, but it might help slow it down. That was as far as he would go, literally knowing that report existed, showing that the insurers were stealing money from the consumer by increasing premiums, by claiming they were out of money when they were just giving it away.
Oh, absolutely. And it was planned out the way he departed, right? He lit the dumpster on fire and then quit to join a major national lobbying firm. And so he can't practice in Florida for 2 years, but when he left the next year, it would have been 6 years hold from any government official being able to be a lobbyist in the state of Florida. So he did it all for personal gain, and definitely a POS. But that does talk to us about the sewer stuff that you were talking about. The
exactly. Something that bothers me about the legislature.
I love our segues here.
The same thing in the plenum. So my drain line for the main compressor for the house doesn't sit on a lot of an angle. It's relatively flat, and so it tends to get what we've affirmatively called like snot in it, that kind of stuff. And my HVAC guy recommended this stuff to me. I got it on Amazon. I looked at it, but it said it was basically glycol, and I said to myself, "Can I just pour antifreeze into my drain line instead of it's like $12 for this bottle of glycol? It looks like just glycol." I said I can buy antifreeze for like $8. So next time I have a chance to talk to someone at HVAC. So in that drain line, can I use antifreeze in there to help keep that drain line clean and keep that junk from building up, or do I need something more? And I occasionally I will shop vac on the outside. I will shop vac this stuff out too. I'll do that. But my curiosity was, if every month, instead of hot water and vinegar, can I just dump some antifreeze down that line? And so there you go. That was my question.
The antifreeze will help. The hot water and vinegar is a good remedy. Bleach is a good remedy. Just put a little bit of bleach down there.
Okay.
Chase it with hot water or any water, or just straight up bleach?
Just straight up bleach that you would use at your, to use at laundry and stuff like that. Just put a couple ounces down in there.
Okay.
anything like that where the drain lines are going to sit and the water's going to sit in there, that bleach will sit into it, and that'll get everything dissolved out. A lot of people use a little bit of Dawn dish soap
okay.
to go into there.
Break up any grease, anything that might have been in the
Because I was really, I
Yes.
was like, because he said buy these bottles, and like, it was like $80 for like 4 bottles, and I'm like, it's this bottle. I'm like, geez, this feels like a waste of money, and that's what I said. Antifreeze, baby. I'll buy it at AutoZone, and I'll be all set. So I just figured I'd ask since I have a chance to ask somebody. I thought I would.
The other thing is when you was talking about using the shop vac to vacuum it out, and you talk about the snot, for lack of any better words, smeg, whatever. When you hit it with the vacuum, it's going to pull a hole in that. Once it pulls a hole, then your air is just going to go through that hole, and the rest of it will sit in your pipe.
Okay.
So it's a good idea to put the vacuum on the outside and flush it from the inside. Get a bottle of hot water,
Right.
go ahead and just pour it in there, so that makes a suction where it'll actually pull that stuff out of the line and clear the line out.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Well, but if you were on a maintenance plan with Ameripride AC and Plumbing, then you don't have to worry about that.
There we go.
You'll get regular inspections. You can be able to even put it in a monthly plan. And we have Tracey here to talk to us about that. Tracey, tell us about how if somebody did want to kind of like, you're doing it yourself. I don't want to mess with AC and plumbing. I barely can do drywall, and that's just because I think I can. And I never texture anyways. But those are the things I don't ever mess with. I say electrical, which is really includes your AC as well, and plumbing. Those things I just can't usually figure out outside of just a little plunger.
Right.
So Tracey, tell us about the maintenance program you guys offer to consumers here.
We have a couple different programs. We have individually HVAC and then plumbing, depending on what somebody wants. And we have one that's combined for both.
That's amazing.
We also, when somebody purchases an AC unit, we actually provide the service plan with it for the first 2 years. That allows for us to come out twice a year, automatically do the AC cleaning inside and outside to make sure it's properly maintained so that they're not going to have problems. Make sure that all of that schmuck is pulled out and it's not gunking up into the system where it's going to have part failure. We can do it either monthly, quarterly, or yearly for payment plans for the program. We charge $249 for the year.
That's
So-
awesome.
What
And
about
that
duct?
and
What about
that'll
the duct?
is that 2 visits every year?
Yes.
Awesome. And you'll be checking out if you pick the plan for both AC and plumbing. You're checking all things.
Yes. We'll include a water heater flush to pull all of that sediment and everything out of there so that it doesn't gunk up your hot water system and make it less efficient.
Awesome. And I imagine that'll get you at the top of the end in case you call in for an appointment or if anything breaks or anything during that time.
You're going to get priority service, yes.
Awesome. And then quickly, how can we reach you? Phone number and website.
407-322-7600, or for the Polk County area, 863-213-5780. And our website is www.ameripridesg.com.
Perfect. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. All right. We're back live on 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial here in Central Florida. If you happen to miss the live show, check us out on Spotify, iTunes, or go to our YouTube page, like us, subscribe us, and by midweek, our video is up. You can check us out there. You can listen to us. You can watch us. We do have a face for radio, just giving you that warning, so don't sue us. We did give a proper warning. Is that right, Hans?
Yes, I believe we did.
Very good. All right, so like us, subscribe us there. Or, like I said, I think the easiest way is usually just pick up your phone, go to Spotify. I would say by Wednesday or Thursday, we are on that, or our next show is posted at that point. So you have a couple shots at checking us out. If you want to learn more about our association and our nonprofit, if you like what you're hearing today and you want to donate, or if you're a service provider yourself and you have questions about membership to join us, check us out, raflorida.org. And so our guests today, Jeff and Tracey Wallace, Ameripride AC and Plumbing, and great segment just right before the break here, talking about which I was more excited about, and I'm definitely going to be a customer of yours for AC and plumbing maintenance. I mean, so many times we're talking about emergency stuff, and when all that stuff's going on, it's all like fuzzy. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I would forget to call you. If I have you on a maintenance program, your stuff's going to be, I already have a relationship with you. So if that one time of need comes up, or if your plumbing blows up, or your AC goes out, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's 92 degrees today. Was our high for this season so far, and I imagine the humidity is the same, if not more, which makes it very hot. If you're not from Florida, it's hot. Let me just say, it's effing hot. Whatever you want to say, I don't know whatever you can say, but
Africa hot.
There you go. Thank you. All right, so that's what anyways, but whatever. We won't get into that. But we all know that you need to get somebody out there quickly and have a relationship by having a maintenance program in which you talked about right before the break. Now, does that give me discounts on if I need to put a new machine in or if a toilet explodes? Tell me more about that.
If there's something that's not covered as part of the warranty, there is a discount.
Wait, there's a warranty? Oh my goodness.
There are parts that have warranties.
No.
Wow.
When we install an AC, we will automatically register the product for you so that we make sure you get the full manufacturer's warranty. In the state of Florida, most manufacturers come with a 5-year warranty, but they make you register the product to get the full 10-year. So there is a 10-year warranty out there if you just know to go sign up for it. So we do that for you so that we make sure you get that full warranty. So if something happens while we're doing routine maintenance and we see the blower motor is going down or there's a leak in the evap coil, we'll go ahead and process that warranty claim for you so that you don't have to worry about that. You know, our motto is just be comfortable. And that's what we want you to do.
And to go on top of the warranty, we will match that warranty with our own labor warranty. We stand behind our products and our service that much. So when we register something and it's a 10-year parts warranty, that's also a 10-year labor warranty.
Wow.
And
That's great.
usually where the money is in when it's out of warranty, you go with the parts $80, but it's $1,000 to put it in.
Right.
You're like, what?
Yeah, right. And it's on a Friday night, 7 p.m.
usually.
And they're
You have your friends over.
Right. Yeah. And I can fix the part. The flux capacitor is out again. It's going to be $1,000 right now. And so that's awesome. That you have that guarantee of the labor portion, because you always see the part runs out or vice versa, right? Or the part is still in warranty, but the labor portion ran out.
Yeah.
It's like you were saying, it's like, okay, we'll give you the part for warranty, but it cost you all this much in labor. That's great to know. And is there a priority appointment if I call you and I'm a part of your maintenance program?
If you're part of our maintenance program, you're going to get the priority service. And as well, we do offer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week service.
Oh, wow. That's important.
If you have something that happens on New Year's Eve at 11 o'clock at night, you call us, we're going to respond. We answer the phone, guaranteed.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's great.
Also, if your AC goes down in the middle of the night and it's over a weekend and the parts houses are closed and we don't have something, it's a specialty part, we're going to put you a portable into your house so that you have some kind of air and you're not just suffocating over the weekend.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Where were you in my 20s when the first storms came through and I just sat there for like
exactly.
weeks
5
with
days.
no power at all? And I have their cards right here. I'm keeping it. I'm not sharing with anybody. I'm just kidding. But to have their cell phone number, I'm going to put it in my phone as well, because there's always that Friday night, Saturday night type of AC goes down or the plumbing stops working. And like to your point, a party's coming over, you're having friends over and you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Who am I going to call? Who's not going to take advantage of me? Who has good ratings and all that stuff on that short amount of time? So Jeff, Tracey, thank you so much for being on the show. And with the consumers listening to us, and again, I'm going to be a customer myself. Give us your full rundown, so to speak. Your name, the company, how to get a hold of you, and of course your best client that you can possibly think of. Go for it.
As we're supposed to stare at each other. Our name is Ameripride AC and Plumbing, and our phone number is 407-322-7600. That's 407-322-7600. Easy to remember.
That's right. Website, email address. How else do we get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of us. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel, TikTok.
You guys post TikTok videos in the office there? Like what's going on, crazy stuff? Or
we do some videos. If you check it out on YouTube,
He does a morning traffic light
I do a thing
post.
called Traffic Light, LITE, not light.
yeah.
It's a little thing we do every morning. I'll do it every morning, and you can check that out on our Facebook or on our YouTube channel. You can also check us out on our website, which is www.Ameripride, S in Sierra, G as in golf.com. That's AmeriprideSG.com.
Awesome.
And make sure that, and my thing to the folks that are listening, even if you don't decide to use us and you want to go with your favorite person, or if you're shopping out, make sure that you're using a licensed contractor. I can't stress that enough. Make sure that they have licenses, check the licenses with the state,
That's right.
and make sure that they are qualified, and make sure that they don't have anything up against them. You'll find that myself, I'm the vice chair for the licensing board for Seminole County, and we see stuff come through that'll put your hair on end. And just be careful when you hire somebody out. And if you want to join with us, we'd love to come out and do some service work for you guys.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. I think we got enough for the reels, that's for sure. It's definitely setting you up for it. Now, one thing I think is fantastic about you, we're talking about the AC and plumbing portion of it. You kind of put that out there, but you mentioned you first started in this industry in a roofing background and reconstruction background, and that's a lot of things of what you do today. And so not just on the AC and plumbing, but we're looking at the insurance claim loss, or an insurance loss that somebody has, and they file that claim, and they need somebody to help them soup to nuts, whether it be I had water intrusion through my roof, through my windows, damaged my flooring, damaged my drywall, and all those trades are necessary for that. And I was kind of setting it up in the beginning. Whenever somebody files a claim, that's one thing that their adjuster calls or tells them to do when they call in the claim, is say, okay, I have roof damage. Okay, go get 3 estimates from 3 roofing companies, and then report back. You know, they want you to do their job, right? And so many times we say on the show, it's like, you don't have to get 3 estimates. You get one qualified contractor that can help you, or we've had public adjusters on the show that can be the one-stop shop, right? That can bid everything, but you do things differently. You not only can you bid on it, you can do the work.
That's correct. We are, and I am license holder, but we are general contracting license. We're a plumbing license. We're the air conditioning license. All them licenses are held by me. I've had the contractor's license for 20 years. So I've been doing this all my life. This is all that I know. What makes it a powerhouse is with Tracey coming in and coming from the legal field. So while I can do anything out there in the field, I can build pretty much anything with one eye closed. From the inside end of it, from her legal field, she can do all the insurance work, all the paperwork. She knows how to dot the I's, cross the T's to get everything through the finish line for the customer, so they get the experience they deserve.
That's very important. As a contractor working for an insured during a property damage claim loss, is that it's super important that the contractor knows what they're doing. And again, there's a difference between a retail contractor and a contractor that understands insurance billing, collection, and actually performing the work. Most companies don't do all of them in-house, right? They may be paper GCs that'll do the estimates but don't actually do the work. Or you get the folks that do the work but can't do an estimate to save their lives to be able to help the insured get as much dollars as they possibly can. And by doing the detailed estimates, what you guys do, you're enabling the homeowner, the insured, to get as much money as they possibly can that they're rightfully owed, so they can be back at pre-loss condition. What we're seeing now is that insurance companies are paying low numbers, forcing insureds to then come out of their own pocket, get loans that maybe or may not get paid back, right? Luckily, you guys offer that full assistance, which most people don't know about. And I think we need to highlight again, if somebody's dealing with a Hurricane Milton claim or still dealing with Ian or still damages and they haven't gotten paid, and now your claim has been quote unquote closed because there's been no activity. This is what would happen. You file a claim, insurance adjuster comes out. They say, oh, there's only a little bit amount of damage. And you're saying, well, no, there's a lot of damage. Okay, send me pictures. Send me this, back and forth, blah, 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 blah. And then once you stop because you're busy in life, they stop, right? And they slow down. Then they close your claim. They don't open the claim until you submit something, right? At that point, your claim is just sitting there closed, right? And you can just not even agree on a number at all because your estimates are off, and they've never even issued payment or coverage at that point. So if you're listening now and this is true to you, I would say make sure you call Jeff and Tracey now and get an estimate going, because what that'll do is that'll push your chess match forward. Meaning that if you put in an estimate that's competitive or comparative rather to their insurance adjuster's estimate, and there's an indifference, well, now they have to do something, right? So they would normally then do a second visit, or maybe they would come in with an engineer or another contractor to offset that, right? But you guys are ready for that. You're already dealing in this type of industry. Most people don't understand that, is that they need somebody on their side that's going to ensure that they get every dollar that they can. As Hans knows, once they sign that release, it's done. You can't go back. You can't claim things that were missed by a contractor that was just there to maybe do the roof. Didn't look on the inside, which we've seen so many other times too. Mm-hmm. Roofers are great at knocking on doors, getting the business, but they forget to look inside and say, okay, you have yellow stains here. You possibly have truss damage. You have insulation that was damaged. You have boards underneath the roof that may have been damaged from water, and that should be included. You know, roofers start ripping off sheathing and stuff. They see boards, or they're ripping off the rooftops, and they're seeing boards that are damaged. There goes your bill. It continues to go up. Mm-hmm. And a professional will catch that in the beginning. Make sure you get all the dollars you possibly can. So Jeff, finish this off. How do we get a hold of you in time of our crisis and our need, whether it be AC Plumbing or a full estimate or full rebuild here in the Central Florida area?
Getting hold of us in the Central Florida area, you got a couple numbers you can do. 407-322-7600 or 863-213-5780, and that's in the Polk County, Hillsborough area. We cover pretty much all the I-4 corridor. Call us up, 322-7600 or 863-213-5780.
All right, thanks guys for joining us on our show today. More with you every week. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. Talk to you guys next week. See you.